Hey everybody. So my ethnography is on the concept of culture, and I'm using Starbucks as the example. So the reason why I chose to do the ethnography on Starbucks is, one, I frequent this place a lot, and I used to not like Starbucks. But after going to this place since the beginning of the semester and the beginning of this class to study mostly, I found myself to enjoy the people there, the employees there, and the all-around environment. So I wanted to find out what the culture was like. Why is such a place existing, and what makes it this way? What makes the culture stand out and attract more people? So here's the concept of Starbucks culture. So I have a precursor. Due to time constraints, I had to shorten my interviews. So each interviewee was asked 3 questions, which are very important. Also, my artifact is what I based my study on. It is the code of ethics, or basically the code of conduct through Starbucks, which kind of gave a foundation to what the culture is really like. So I based my premise on Benedict, Gertz, Bennett, James Clifford, but mainly, as you can see there with me having some coffee, Abu Lughod. Now, in Abu Lughod's writing against culture, she uses the self and other and feminism. Those were the premise for her, as you can see here, as an argument against culture and how it's outgrown its actual definition. As you can see here, these are my artifacts. 32 pages. I didn't want to get too involved with it, so there they are. But to go back to Abu Lughod, her writing against culture stood out to me a lot because we base our society a lot upon words, and regretfully so, in my mind and in my opinion, go away from the concept of that very thing that we limited it to. So how do we go back to more focus on the concept, more focus on the thought? Well, we have to break the limitations of the definition. Well, it naturally occurs when we have changing lifestyles, changes in behavior, changes in pattern, changes in rituals. New things arise, old things decay. Not so much die out, but just they change in a form that makes it not as prominent as the new thing. And that's kind of what culture has been doing. This class has taught me a lot about that. And so I did these 2 interviews, and what you guys are going to notice in these interviews is that these guys say 2 different things, but they are both based on the concept of culture. And their names are actually kind of interesting. I wanted to get more interviews, but I couldn't. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be back in a second. Welcome.
All right, thank you for having me.
What is your name?
My name is Thick Boy.
Thick Boy, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So here we have Thick Boy. I'm Christopher. Scott, you already know that. What is it about this Starbucks, or Starbucks in general, that you like as opposed to other places?
I like the environment that Starbucks brings, and my coworkers most of them are amazing, and I love pretty much like almost all of them. I just like being able to create the drinks and actually like putting a smile on people's faces, because like it's all like in like a PR. It's like it actually like happens. Like people really do like get excited when they get their like coffee, and it's a good feeling to like make someone's like day just from coffee.
Excited to get their coffee.
Is that number
Definitely
2?
This guy.
Is that number 2?
This is number 1. This is just number 1.
Right.
He explained that he loves the environment that it brings. He loves his co-workers, and emphasis on the word love. He didn't just, I asked what he likes. He actually expounded and went to the word love. His co-workers are fantastic. He loves putting a smile on the customers' faces, which customer service is a really big thing around here. I feel it all the time when I come in here. He knows me by first name basis. The others know me by first name basis. And I've only been coming here for about a little over a month now. And it's kind of cool to know that they know you as more than just a person who buys coffee and buys other drinks. And then on top of that, he explained that he likes being able to produce and create and innovate and make things here, because that's generally what Starbucks is about. So my final question to you is the tough question. What is it that is tolerable but is not a favorite for you? Basically, what don't you really like about it?
Okay, so I do love the environment that we create, but sometimes it's very stressful.
Right.
And having to like create something based on like other people's demands, and everyone has like completely different like expectations when they come in here.
Right.
That's always like pretty difficult. And sometimes you get like the people who are just like completely like the word I'm looking for is like. I'm on the spot now.
I think I got him finally.
Yeah, you definitely did. Certain people are just like really stuck up, and you can't please them. That's always just like really frustrating, because like we'll try like really hard to like please someone, but then they'll just be like ungrateful and just like
Very challenging.
very, very challenging. That's a good word to put it.
That's the nice way of saying it. You know,
Yeah,
stuck up is a lot better. I've seen it, but challenging is it. Well, Thick Boy, thank you so much for the interview. So as you can see, in the first interview, he really enjoyed the interview. He's been wanting to do it for a while, so I had to get him in first. He was really excited to do it, and his excitement just showed how much he was willing to talk about the way Starbucks is and the way the people are. And that in itself shows how the concept really outgrows the limitations and boundaries of the definition. Be back soon. Welcome again. How you doing, Scott? Hello, class. I'm here. Interview number 2, day number 2. This gentleman next to me is also an employee of Starbucks. He decided to grace us with his presence and answer a few questions for me. Now, this first question, please, for the camera and for everybody watching, what is your name?
My name is Randy Randallson.
Randy Randallson. Catch that, everybody. Randy Randallson. I actually kind of like that name. Okay. So, this one is, what is it that you like about it as an employee or as a person, period?
What I not even like. What I love about Starbucks is that there's a couple things. A, if I'm an employee, working wise, everything's fast paced. I'm a supervisor, I have a lot to do on my plate. So it's making sure everyone's getting their breaks and stuff, making sure the customers are happy, making sure the lines are moving. We got a lot of green beans, aka new employees. So it's a little rough lately, but even so, I love the fast paced. I love the music. So it's a love-hate relationship, because sometimes you come to Starbucks and you're like, I hate working today. There's those days that you don't want to work, but like I started a job at Intrust Bank as of like 5 weeks ago, and basically I hated it. It was super slow. Like granted, it's a bank and everyone likes banks and everyone talks about it's super easy to move up, and it was easy. Everything was just boring. I couldn't stand it. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I put in my $2 there and everything, and I felt like I wasted time here instead of trying to get promoted quicker here. Again, to a management position instead. But overall, I just love Starbucks. Everything about it. The discount, Spotify, people mostly.
So, once again, second interview, and it's the second time I heard that word. I asked, what does he like? He scratched the word like right out and went to what does he love? That to me shows how the culture here is produced by the employees, and it is placed upon us patrons and consumers of the product. It shows. He went to another job. He didn't like the fact that that job was not the same as this one, and it didn't offer the environment he was used to and accustomed to and liked being in, and decided ultimately that wasn't going to work for him, and he's back here, and now he's actually loving it so much that he wants to move up and do the same things. So leads me into the final question, and you can answer this question any way you so choose. What is it? You can name anything, one thing or several. What is it that you don't like?
What I don't like about Starbucks, I would have to say it's dependent on your store. I don't like how, and it changes in the areas that you're in, but some managers are good, some like amazing, and some are horrible. So here's a good example. What is today? Today is the Sunday the 13th, right? Before 14th?
Sunday the 14th, snowing outside.
Right, yeah, the slush. We had a call off today, right? Called them, asked them why he's calling off. He said, our manager said, okay, I'll let you know if we need you. So, texted her, asked her if she let him know, and she claimed that she did. So, it was that he said, she said kind of gray area that happens all the time. And it happens at plenty of stores.
Right.
What is it? The Metro, not the Metro, 90 Starbucks? That Starbucks needs a lot of love. That Starbucks, they need some good employees. They really do. It really just depends on where you're at. There are some managers, 159th, the manager there, her name's Jessica Corona, amazing woman. She loves her store, she loves her job, and it shows the results that she produces. So if you have someone that's in a management position that doesn't really want to work for, doesn't really want to give their all for the store, it doesn't give that separation between corporation and people being people, talking to each other, being the cohesiveness that it needs isn't there. And that's what makes Starbucks Starbucks. Like our logo, one cup, one neighborhood, one person at a time. So if you're not doing that, then it's not going to be good.
Well, as you heard it, my first interview, the toughest question, the answer to that was having to deal with challenging customers and performing for those challenging customers that are never satisfied on a consistent basis. This interview got a bit more interesting. Now we're talking about the employee structure, the cohesiveness. He even said the mantra of Starbucks, one cup, one people, one America. I don't know it yet by heart. I'm going to learn it by the end of this whole ethnography. I'll be able to spit it out verbatim. But it shows that through these two interviews that there's a consistent thing. One, it's the cohesion or togetherness between employee-employee relations and employee-customer relations. And two, communication. Communication is a very big thing here at Starbucks, and it is a part of the culture behind Starbucks. And if, as he explains it, as Randy Randallson explains it, if there's ever a lack of it, it will show throughout the whole Starbucks. So, Randy, Thank you very much. I appreciate this interview. So, long story short, the concept of culture will always outgrow its definition and its boundaries. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy.